Today, I'm going to show you how to create this easy homemade ice cream from Florean Fortescue's ice cream shop. This is the peanut butter strawberry ice cream that Harry, Ron, and Hermione got while in Diagon Alley. Okay, so the things we will need to create our Florean Fortescue's strawberry peanut butter ice cream is a mixer of some kind. I'm going to use my KitchenAid, but you could also use a hand mixer, and we're going to want to use the whisk beaters for that. And I have my bowl and the beater in the fridge right now cooling to make it a little bit easier to make our ice cream base. We are going to need some heavy whipping cream, as well as some sweetened condensed milk. We're going to use the entire can, which is 14 ounces or 396 grams. Then we will need some either sugar cones or waffle cones, and I'm also going to show you how you can use the sugar or waffle bowls. Then for our flavorings, we are going to need some fresh strawberries, as well as freeze-dried strawberries. And then we are going to use a creamy peanut butter, but you could use crunchy as well. And then we're also going to use some regular peanuts. I have some milk chocolate flavored melting wafers back here. We are going to use a food processor for the strawberries. We're then going to need some kind of pan. I like to use a loaf pan for our ice cream to freeze in. And we are going to cover that with a plastic wrap. We will need an ice cream scoop. I'm also going to use a plastic bag. You could also use a piping bag, but I wanted to show you guys that you can use a plastic bag just as easily as you can use a piping bag. We're going to need scissors, and then you are either going to need some hot glue, a glue stick, or I really like the roll-on scrapbooking glue for this, even double-sided tape, because you want something that's going to stick rather quickly. I find that the glue stick takes a little too long for it to glue, but if that's all you have, then that's what you can use. And finally, we are going to need our ice cream cone sleeves printed on cardstock, and the link for that is in the description down below. Let's get started. Okay, so to flavor our strawberry ice cream, we're going to use fresh strawberries, and we are going to want to make them into a puree. So if you didn't want to go through the hassle of this, you probably could use a strawberry jam, but I feel like the fresh strawberries just give you a really great fresh flavor. Now, I did take about 3 or 4 strawberries, and I did rough chop them into smaller bits that we're going to fold in so that we get some chunks of strawberry in our ice cream as well, but the puree is going to be the overall flavor and texture of the ice cream. So all I'm going to do is pop this in my food processor attachment on my immersion blender, and we're going to make it a puree. And now we have this really great strawberry puree that we're going to be able to use to flavor our ice cream. To add some extra strawberry flavor as well as color, because I don't want to add any food coloring in this. We don't need to add any artificial flavorings or colorings. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pulse up to a dust some of these freeze-dried strawberries. And the freeze-dried strawberries, because they have been freeze-dried, have such a strong yummy flavor and great color that when we pulse them up and we add them to our ice cream, it basically is going to act like extra flavoring as well as a better color. You can also do this for frosting, and it makes an amazing strawberry flavored frosting and gives you a really great pink color without any food coloring. So we're going to do this so then that way we get a nice pink strawberry ice cream that's full of flavor. As you can see, I have a really great powder that will now add color to our ice cream as well as extra flavor. For the peanut butter flavored ice cream, I have about 1/2 cup of peanut butter in here, and I'm actually going to microwave it for just a couple seconds till it gets a little bit thinner and easier for us to pour and mix into our ice cream. And the reason I'm only using 1/2 cup, and you could definitely use more, is because our ice cream is going to be predominantly strawberry with some swirls of the peanut butter in there. So the peanut butter is almost going to be like a secondary flavor. I didn't want it to overtake the whole ice cream, so we're not going to have as much of the peanut butter ice cream swirled in as we do the strawberry. So that's why I'm only using 1/2 cup, but by all means, you could definitely use more. Okay, so to make our base for our ice cream, we're going to start off by taking 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, and we are going to whip it into stiff peaks. Like I said, you could do this with a hand mixer, but I find that it takes a while sometimes to get your stiff peaks to form, so I feel like a stand mixer works the best. Now, I have chilled my bowl as well as my whisk, just because I feel like it being cold helps it stiffen to the peaks a little bit quicker. And now we're going to go ahead and whisk this up. And we're starting to get peaks, but I think I want this to whip just a tiny, tiny bit longer. Okay, there we go. That looks good. So now we're going to add our full can of sweetened condensed milk, and I have actually put this in the fridge as well, so then that way it's nice and cold, so you're not adding something warm to our cold whipped cream that could potentially flatten it. So we're just going to dump this in. And now we're going to mix this up until it's all well combined, which doesn't take very long at all. And I'm just going to scrape down the sides to make sure that everything got incorporated. Do one more mix with it and we should be good with our base. Okay, so now that we have our base completely mixed, I'm going to scoop some of this out and put it into a separate bowl so that we can make that part peanut butter, and then I'm going to make what's left in here strawberry. I think that looks good. I just want enough peanut butter to be able to swirl in there to give us our peanut butter flavor, but not overtake the strawberry. So now we're going to go ahead and finish our strawberry ice cream here in the mixer. Okay, so to make our strawberry ice cream, we're going to add all of that lovely strawberry puree that we made. As well as our freeze-dried powder. I'm going to scrape down the sides. Okay, so now we have a really great strawberry flavored ice cream. I'm going to go ahead and add in the roughly chopped strawberries, and we're just going to do a quick mix to mix them in, and then our strawberry base is done. And now our pieces are roughly mixed in, and our strawberry portion is done. Okay, so now that we have our strawberry base done, I'm going to go ahead and pour it into our baking dish. You could also put it into individual like pint-size paper containers, anything like that. You can put it in a Tupperware dish, anything to freeze it in is just fine. Okay, now I'm only going to roughly put this in here because we're still going to add the peanut butter flavored ice cream. Okay, so to mix our peanut butter version, I have the base we pulled out of the larger bowl, and then I have my peanut butter that I have put in the microwave for like 20 seconds or so just to make it really smooth and easy to mix in. Okay, so once we have it mixed, you can taste it. And just make sure it has enough peanut butter flavor, because if you want it to have more, just add a little bit more peanut butter. But I think this is good, so I'm going to go ahead and load it into my plastic bag. Okay, so I have my plastic bag filled with my peanut butter ice cream, and all I'm going to do is snip the corner of the bag. And then we're just going to go into our ice cream and give a good squeeze. And we're going to create little columns of peanut butter ice cream through the strawberry. And then we can put a little bit up here. And then all I'm going to do is take a butter knife, and we are just going to swirl this in to create some swirls of our peanut butter ice cream. And then I'm going to smooth this out. I'm going to cover this in plastic wrap, and I'm going to put this in the freezer for 6 hours. It needs to be in there at least 6 hours, if not overnight, and then I'll show you our finished product. While our ice cream is in the freezer, getting all ice creamy, we're going to go ahead and get our wraps for our cones figured out, as well as a garnishment for our actual cones or bowls. So what I did here is all I did was cut them out, and now we're going to fold along the dotted line here. And you don't have to make it like a really harsh fold. We just want a fold that's going to help us get the cone shape we're looking for. And it's most important at the very bottom with the point. So we just need to do a partial fold like that. Now, at this point, all we're going to do is run our glue or tape, whatever you want to run. We're going to actually do it on the side that's not folded, and then I'm also going to add a little bit to the folded side. But the non-folded side, if you don't do it, will have potentially the edge sticking up. So we just want to make sure that we get that glued down really well. Okay. And this has got kind of like a rubber cement quality, which I like for this. Okay, so now that that's all glued and ready to go, we're going to roll this into a cone. It's important to get your bottom part first, because once that is set, everything else goes pretty quickly. And then we just continue to roll it up. And then if need be, you can actually put your cone in there so that you can rub your seam down even better. And then we have a really great little sleeve for our ice cream cones. Now, you wouldn't necessarily have to use this just for ice cream cones. If you were going to have a Harry Potter party, you could even put these on these kind of cones and fill the cones with candy and then put them in a piping bag to close off to be a little favor. Or you could do the ice cream cone cupcakes, and you could use this as a little liner to just add a little bit of color and whimsy and a little bit of theming to the actual cupcake. And now that our cone sleeves are ready to go, I'm going to show you how to garnish your ice cream cones and bowls. Okay, so to garnish our ice cream cones and bowls, and this is completely optional, but I think it adds a really nice element to the ice cream, kind of gives you something to look forward to once you get to the cone. We're actually going to use some chocolate candy melts. You could also use peanut butter candy melts. You could use strawberry ones if you want. You could use white chocolate. Whatever you fancy, you could definitely do it with. But I'm going to do regular chocolate because I think it's going to balance really nicely with the strawberry and peanut butter flavors that we have going on in our ice cream. And then to just add a little bit of extra flair, I took some of our peanuts and I chopped them up finely to make a topping. And then I've also taken some of our freeze-dried strawberries and I chopped them up coarsely so that we have this really great mix of the peanuts and freeze-dried strawberries, and we're going to actually roll our cone in that once it has been dipped into the chocolate so that we get a really great texture of the peanuts and the strawberries, again, kind of just incorporating all of those flavors. Now, when you go to dip your cones, if you don't want them to be upside down where you might get a weird lip drying, you're going to want to have something you can set them in. So all I've done is filled some cups with some peanuts and some chocolate chips to just kind of help hold it up. You could also use cardboard that you can maybe cut circles out of that you could stick them in, but you just want something that you can prop them up in while they dry. Now, if you'd like them to dry like this, that's fine too. Just use some wax paper so then that way you're able to easily remove it off of there. So I'm going to go ahead and get my candy melts melted in the microwave, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that my chocolate has melted, I'm going to go ahead and take my ice cream cone, and we are just going to dip it in and bring it up. And we're going to let it sit for a second and drip off any excess. We can also kind of roll it towards the center. And we want to let it get a little tacky. We don't want it to be like completely soft. And then we're going to dip it. And we have our garnished ice cream cone. Now, you can do it either way. I'm going to show you both ways, on the wax paper and drying upright. And we're going to do the same thing for the bowls. So to do the bowls, it's really similar. I just got a slightly larger bowl here, and all I'm going to do is dip my bowl in the chocolate. Now we could also spoon some chocolate on the inside and coat the whole interior of the bowl as well. And then all I'm going to do is take my topping in a spoon and I'm just going to dust it over the chocolate. And we have a nice garnishment on our bowls. If you're going to coat the inside of your bowl, Just spoon some of the chocolate in there. You can kind of use a spoon to help paint it on the inside. Let it dry a little bit, and then we can do the garnishment around the edge. And once our bowls and cones have dried, we have this really great garnishment that's going to add extra flavor and just a little bit of a eye catcher as well. Okay, so our ice cream has been in the freezer for 6 hours or better, and I'm going to go ahead and pull the plastic wrap off. And we are left with our homemade ice cream. So I'm going to go ahead and get my ice cream scoop here, and we're going to serve some up. As you can see, we have a really great pink and tan texture from the peanut butter being swirled in with the strawberries, and we have the really nice little flecks of the fresh strawberries that we added in there. And this is just perfect ice cream consistency. And there you have it, our Florean Fortescue's strawberry peanut butter ice cream, just like the kind that Harry, Ron, and Hermione had in Diagon Alley. This would be a great addition to a party or just a fun thing to have for a movie night with your family. It's super easy, you don't need an ice cream machine, and I promise that you will love the taste and texture. So if you guys like this video, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and we will catch you guys later. Thanks so much.